Hi, I'm Mr. Davis. I'm Subject Leader for Society and Culture at the Swan School, and I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about the study of humanities and what you can expect to learn if you choose to come to the Swan. Our view is that students should gain an awareness of their culture, their history, their geography, and philosophical ideas. Knowledge is going to be placed at the centre of everything that they study in history, geography, and RE. The aim is really for us to broaden students' academic horizons, and we will relish in the fact that we teach them things that they have never learnt about before or that don't seem immediately relevant to their daily life. That is really the purpose of their learning at the Swan. This combination of knowledge, cultural capital and academic curiosity will enable them to, in our view, think the unthinkable and the not yet thought about the world. So, what does that actually look like in practice? For history, we start back with the Roman Republic and we take them through the history of Europe in a thoughtful chronology that gives them context for the country that they live in today. We approach topics like the study of empire from a slightly different perspective though. We do look at Britain's motivation for its acquisition of an empire, but we also look at the experience of empire from those who were in it, not from the experience of the British people at the time. So we flip the perspective where appropriate. We also take this approach when we study the 20th century and when we look at the First and Second World Wars, and we intentionally move beyond the British perspective in those periods because it allows students to put the British experience in place in a global context, but still retain a connection to the country that they're growing up in. In RE, we take a chronological process through the religions. In Year 7, we start with the Abrahamic Religions and we follow the same routine with each religion. We learn about the core beliefs of each religion, their understandings of God, and their relationship with God. Once those beliefs are established, we move through the study of practice. How does that belief translate into practice of that religion, and what does that practice look like in daily life? We start in Year 7 with the Abrahamic Religions, starting with Judaism, progressing through to Christianity, and finishing with Islam. The rationale for this is that these religions, that is the chronology in which these religions were revealed, and therefore it makes sense to study them in that order and add some of the historical context that helps students understand these religions and the beliefs that they hold. In Year 8, we then move on to the study of the Eastern religions, starting with Hinduism, moving on to Sikhism, which again, we think about the sequencing of learning. Sikhism grows out of conflict in India between Islam and Hinduism, so it makes sense that students have studied those religions before studying Sikhism, and we finish with Buddhism at the end of Year 8. Year 9 we then move on to ethical themes and moral questions, where students will look at a particular question from the perspective of each of those 6 world religions. This then gives students a really broad grounding, not only on the religions that are present within the UK, but their approach to difficult ethical questions across the world. In geography, we take an approach that flips the script. Usually Year 7s will start by studying the local history. They'll start by looking out the window of their school. We do it differently. We start big and zoom in. So in Year 7, we take students on a tour of the Earth. We start at the highest level possible with plate tectonics, like how the Earth moves and how its physical geography is created and changed. We then, through Year 7, take them on a tour of each continent, introducing the key themes or unique aspects or unique questions that different areas of the world present. Then, in Year 8, we move on to challenges, and this is where we see themes such as climate change, urbanization, and development start to really come to the fore, and the questions and challenges these things raise, but then the students are able to place these challenges into the different contexts they have from Year 7. They aren't just learning about urban development and learning about one capital city, but not really even being able to point to it on a map. They know where these places are. They have the proper context to put this knowledge into. Then, in year 9, we finally have zoomed in enough that we come back to Britain, and we can then put Britain and the study of its human and physical geography in its proper global context, and the students have an awareness of where Britain fits into the wider global perspective. I hope that's been informative for you and a very, very sort of quick guide through the study of the humanities subjects at the Swan, and we look forward to seeing you.